Hello? Anybody there today? Let's see if anybody tunes in on Facebook today while I try and get my phone to stay stable. Uh-oh. Let me see. Okay, I see a few people popping in. Last week I got my phone to stay really stable. And today I can't figure it out. And I also am not sure why I'm not looking at the camera. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I have a nice flower I'm sporting. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the summer. I don't know about you, but my kids just went on summer break. So welcome to YourTango on Facebook. Chloe Paul, hey, it's nice to see you. I'm saying hi to you right now. And I'm trying, it's really weird because I want to be looking at you guys and then I'm looking down at the comments. So if you don't see me if it looks like I'm not looking at you guys, I'm just reading your comments. So thanks to everybody who's saying hi. There's got to be more people here. Hi, Christopher. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Hey, Chloe. I'll say hi again. It's really fun because I'm starting to recognize names now. Hey, Corey. Corey Kiddo. That's a great name. Hello, Roneth, is that how you pronounce it? Hi, it's nice to see you. I love the smileys, the emojis. Hi, Maria. Liza, hi. Hope you're doing good, feeling good. Hi, Rachel and Shelly, and Jerry. Oh, I'm in Cali too. Cali's the best. Why is my bracelet falling off tonight? It's a weird night tonight for some reason, but I just started, so it's just going to be awesome instead. Let's see, I saw Jada, Jaylyn, Krista, Kimberly, and I just, so I'm going to start off just saying I'm Arianna Jeret, for those of you who haven't been here before. Hi, David, oh my gosh, it's so fun to see you here. David McFadden. What happened? Andrew Powers, good to see you again. Chloe said, I've never gotten a hey from anyone's live video, but I got 2 tonight. You just got 3. And why don't you ask a question and then you'll get lots. Oh, Ramon's here from Egypt. Hi, Fawn. We had somebody from Egypt here last week too. Isn't it like 4:30 in the morning there? That's what he said last time. Christopher, you said, I'm doing well. More importantly, how are you? Oh, that's sweet. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. It's been a mellow weekend. I went out with some old friends last night I hadn't seen in a while, so that was really fun. And they brought along a dude who was, I don't think it was intentional, but he was doing like that negging thing. Have you guys experienced that? Hi, Sarah and Stephanie, and somebody whose name is in a language I can't read, and Judy and Sarah. But I don't know why guys do that. And I don't even think, hi, Paul, it's good to see you. I don't even think the dude knew that what he was doing was negging. I mean, I hope not, because I think it's a really kind of crappy thing to do if you're conscious that you're doing it. But what negging is, if you don't know of it, it's a pickup artist term. Hey, Jerry, I did watch Wonder Woman. In fact, last week I had my Wonder Woman band on for the beginning. The problem with the Wonder Woman band was it was very shiny and distracting, unfortunately, but the flower just kind of hangs out, so that's pretty cool. Thank you, Shelly. I'm glad you like it. Oh, David, is there static? You guys, let me know if there is static for a while, because sometimes when you use the filters, which is the flower, that can cause static. So if it's really bad for people, I'll just take it off. Hi, Christina and Ed and Becky. So what I was going to say is the negging thing. So negging is when somebody like a guy, it's a pickup artist term, and it's when a guy tries to get in with a woman by doing something that puts them down and kind of makes them feel less than, so then the guy can be like the cool one, and then the girl also doesn't feel like maybe she's out of his league, like kind of tries to take her down a notch. And I don't understand. It's the stupidest thing. That's what he did. He called me stupid multiple times. But it's like, it's so incredibly ridiculous to do, because guess what women really like? Compliments. And they like getting along with somebody, just like men do. Men like compliments, and men like to get along with somebody they're hanging out with too. So April, you're too cute too, and I love your name. I was born in April. Hi to Credo. I'm sorry, when oh, Rena, you can get off Facebook. I can't get you off Facebook, but you can get off of Facebook. So you just, close your browser. Hi, Joanna Schroder. We have a Joanna Schroder. But I don't know if you're saying amen about the negging or about me being nuts. Maybe it's both. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the beginning now that we've established negging is bad. Don't do it. So I'm Arianna Jeret. I'm an editor at YourTango. I have an MSW and I was a divorce mediator for 7 years, but nothing that we're doing tonight should be considered therapeutic advice, and nothing should be considered any kind of, legal advice if we talk about divorce, because that's been coming up a lot. We're just chatting. And along those lines, I got a bunch of messages actually last time. Actually what I'm doing is I have my, I want to show you my dirty desk, but I'm opening up Facebook on my computer also, because I noticed last week that a bunch of people sent messages to us instead of putting them in the comments, a few people put their questions into our direct messages on the YourTango Facebook page, which is awesome. It's just that if you do that, I probably won't get them until next time, because I don't want to be staring at the computer the whole time talking to you guys. But you can go ahead and do that. Hi, Kim. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Arouge and Anna Maria. So, a few people also sent messages asking if they could have one-on-one appointments. And I've seen that, people send those for Becca too and for Joanna. And so just so you guys know, this is our full-time job, but we have a phenomenal roster of experts on YourTango, and we have a directory. And so if there's anything that you want to find somebody for who you can see in that capacity more one-on-one, you can find somebody on our site. And you can also just send me an email at Arianna, A-R-I-A-N-N-A, 2 N's, unlike Grande, at YourTango.com, or you can send messages to our Facebook page and just let us know that you want it to be answered anonymously, and we'll do that. Okay, so I see, Andrew said something about, I think this is about the negging. Guys call it cock blocking. Basically, what they're trying to do is say they're better than any other guy in the world. Oh, why does my phone keep bouncing the message? Okay, I'm going to read it again. Guys call it cock blocking. Basically, what they're trying to do is say they're better than any other guy in the world, which is not true. And it's not right coming from a guy, which is me. I love to give compliments, enjoy good conversation, and have a good time. Yeah, it's like they're blocking their own cock, right? Like they're doing cock blocking on themselves instead of being their own wingman, and because I watched a few different videos on negging today on YouTube from a few different pickup artists or reform pickup artists, because I wanted to let my friend know what it was that I was saying I thought was going on. And yeah, you're right. They're trying to be different than other guys, because they think, other guys are always fawning over you, and so they're going to stand out as different. And they do stand out as different. They stand out as a really big douchebag. So mission accomplished, if that was, the goal. Let's see. Hi, James. Oh, Kim put in my email address in the comments, so thank you, Kim. She's another editor here at YourTango, who I love. And so if you want to scroll back and find my email address, it's in there. Shelly said, if a guy only sends you a good morning and good night text, is it worth it to pursue? I'm going to say what I would do is I wouldn't say don't pursue it. I just would make sure that you don't, I would consider it null and void. I'd consider it over, because I think that just anyone for good night and just anyone for good morning is a guy's way of kind of keeping you in line. He's keeping you in the queue, so that if he decides that he wants to try to hook up with you, or he decides that he wants to go out with you, then, he's done his thing of staying in touch with you. But if he's never checking in the rest of the day, and he's never, unless he's got a job where they shut down his cell phone service, there's just no reason not to be, during the day checking in and saying hi, or asking you more questions, more than just saying good morning and good night. So if he's just saying good morning, good night, I say good morning, good night if you want to, but consider it a non-starter unless, you know, at some point he starts to get more talkative, because, you know, it could be that he's trying to get over somebody, or he's trying to get with somebody, or like there's something else going on, and he's kind of like, it seems to me he's just keeping you hanging. So just, you know, I would emotionally move on, and then you can decide if he's somebody you want to be friends with in general or anything like that. Hi to Catherine. Kim said, negging seems manipulative and preying on vulnerable people. Yeah, I mean, that's what really pisses me off. It's like it initially came up during a conversation. I was talking about some past stuff, past relationship stuff, and I mentioned, after talking about the one relationship I try not to talk about online, then I was talking about this ex-boyfriend of mine who I've actually written an article about, because he did some really shitty things and like threatened me with posting my, not naked, but like, you know, almost naked pictures online that I had sent him while we were together, and he threatened to post it on Facebook and do whatever else with it, and all kinds, which is illegal in California, and I think it's illegal in 35 states now, and they're continuing to make it illegal in other places. So anyway, so I mentioned him, and so the guy was like, "What, are you stupid?" So yeah, it was a really shitty thing to do. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk about other people's stuff. Fawn said, or he's married. Oh, about the guy who only sends her good morning, good night texts. I mean, that could be. I don't think that's probably the case, to be honest, because if he was married and he was trying to like get with her for an affair, he'd probably be pursuing it actually during the day when he's at work and his wife's not around, and he'd be probably trying to make something actually happen and see her. So it is possible for sure, but I'm going to just guess that it's somebody who's got something else going on in the background, or he just hasn't decided what he wants from her or anything like that. Oh, Chloe, I'm good today. I'm good today. It's been a nice, relaxing day with my dog. I never know what's like really messy in here, but where is she? Ella, can you see her? She'll be over at some point, I'm sure. She's adorable, however. So we've been having a nice day, relaxing. Let's see. Melanie said, oh, Joanne shared the video. Thank you. Facebook told me I should let you know I appreciate it, and I do. It's very sweet. Okay, so let's see. Melanie said, mammogram and ultrasound machines. Is this a question? Mammogram and ultrasound machines for shaft of men's penis for cancers, etc. How can Romnesia say fit to be prez and do something she doesn't even know in the shaft of the penis? White's only missing healthcare, huh? Ah, America. Cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about penis ultrasounds, to be honest. But it's not really a medical show, and I don't know if that was a political thing. You can, maybe take that to Joanna on Wednesday. Joanna will be here Wednesday at the same time, and I bet she'd love that one. Okay, let's see. Andrew said, that throws up big red flags to me about a guy saying good morning and good night, nothing else. No good conversation. It can mean anything, but still keep your mind open to this. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all on the same page. I think it's not, it's kind of like he probably read the articles online that say, marry the guy who sends you the good morning text and the good night text, because then he knows that that's what women want, is that good morning and that good night. But then he's not, I mean, it's totally a play. It's just another douchey pickup kind of a thing. And I really just think he's trying to keep you waiting. Angela said, I like this guy so much, and after a couple weeks, I'm seeing that he's not pursuing me. Texted all week last week and nothing this weekend. Then, I don't know why. I don't know if women do that to men too, where they get really, really interested and then they drop off. I've probably done that to a few people. But yeah, I mean, I think that what happens is people start out, maybe they're excited about something, and then you have no idea what could be going on for somebody. If they're, again, like I tend to think of people just being out of relationships maybe and having because so many people don't break up clean. they go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for a while. So they think that they're ready and then they're not, or they were totally digging you, and then people have all kinds of quirky, weird reasons why they decide that somebody is not for them anymore. And I think that the biggest, like, life-changing kind of realization for me, and it's pretty simple but also hard to do, when I was somewhere around 40, was like it finally hit me that, oh, if someone doesn't like me, it has nothing to do with me. I mean, it does, but it's that everybody has their thing that they're attracted to. They have their type of look or their type of attitude or behavior. Some people like people who are more bitchy. Some people like people who are nicer. Some people like people who are controlling. Some people like people who are submissive. I mean, I don't mean like in the, well, it's some, I mean, in some cases it matters in bed too, right? So I don't know where you guys were, but so it's like, just because you're not the thing that that person likes, which they probably like based on something that they're not even conscious of back from their childhood. And I don't even mean like they necessarily like their parents, like everybody thinks. Like, I think sometimes people just, they saw something when they were kids that they thought was the end all be all of what love or desire meant to them, and it just like forms this kind of template in their head. And so just because, you know, something about you at some point didn't fit up in their template, it has nothing to do with anything that you did wrong or that you aren't enough. So I feel like, you know, when somebody, when they just stop like that, I would just, you know, stop responding. Well, not responding, but I would stop trying to get them to respond to you, because if they don't want to, even if they responded to you, and even if you guys went out because you kind of like, they felt guilty, it wouldn't be fun or good for either one of you. And I know that that is incredibly hard, and like, I have the hardest time. I'm not somebody who can, I asked Kim recently when I was allowed to message somebody again, and she was like, you're not. And I was like, okay. And then I messaged them again, because I can't, like, I can't let things go like that. So I need like that closure, or I need to have like a conversation. And so I know, but even when I do that, I have to do it knowing that then I'm going to let it go, which I don't always do, but I should. And I know I should. So you should too. Okay. Let's see. Arouge said, why are you ignoring me? I asked something, please be kind enough and answer it. I'd really appreciate that. I just didn't see it. For everybody to know, when I'm looking at your messages, they don't come in for me in real time the way that you guys see them, because I'm also like, I'm looking at the screen and I'm trying to find you guys, and I don't even know what it is. I think it's just the way that my Facebook processes. I saw you say, hey. I thought you said just hi. Did you ask a question too? I'm scrolling back for you. If you want to put it in again, then I will definitely be looking out for the Rouge, but I'm not ignoring you for sure. I just don't see. Jerry asked, oh, I answered that one. Sorry, see, I answered his question twice. I can't find the question, but if you put it in again, I will definitely look for it. And if not, I will go back, I'll scroll back and find it, and I'll answer it next week for sure. Okay, so let me see. Now I have to catch back up. Oh, that also, by the way, could be static when I'm scrolling, just so you know. Oh, Jaylyn said, well, Ed said you're not nuts, thank you. Jaylyn said, okay. Amen, that girl's like compliments, not put downs. Absolutely, right? I mean, who doesn't? Okay, now I'm going back to find anything new. And then we'll be moving on. I saw Angela's. Chris asked if I ever come to New Jersey. I don't. I lived in New York for 3 years, and I love it, and I love the Northeast, but I have 2 kids, and I really don't ever get to go anywhere. Stephanie said, first time here, great. I've been reading the YourTango articles and enjoy them. Thanks for relevant information. You're welcome, and thank you for being here. It's fun, and the more you guys comment, and like I see your names every week, and I know it's the same for Joanna and Becca when they're here. It starts to feel like a community, and we can all have more conversations. So it's great. Hi to Kason. Holly is in Florida. We have so many people in Florida, and I've been seeing all kinds of pictures of my friends in Orlando out at the Memorials for Pulse, which has been really moving. And so I just wanted to, it's one of those, it's one of those things where it's not really a part of the questions, but I just want to acknowledge that it's the 1 year anniversary of Pulse tomorrow and at the shootings, and acknowledge the families and that our hearts are with them, all of us here. So let's see what else. Joanne said, hi, I enjoy the show. Thank you. Ed said that I'm breaking up. I'm going to have to probably drop the flower in a minute if I see that from anybody else. Sorry about that. Andrew said, women do that to me, and I can tell you that from my own experience, it's a game of what I call it. I have to keep my mind open and move on to get hurt and protect my own self and protect my own heart. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, I definitely don't think that any of these kinds of things, it's not that women behave badly or men behave badly. I mean, there are certain things, like there are certain things that it's more typical for women to do as far as the way that they manipulate, and certain things that men are more typically doing. But, absolutely, anytime I talk about something that men do or women do, believe I have 2 boys, I'm well aware that we all do messed up stuff, and we all, have the potential to do great stuff and to be loving. And, it's so hard to keep, I think, as you get older, to keep that open mind about, you've dealt with pickup artists and people who've been assholes and bitches and whatever they've been. And it's so hard to keep their hearts open and to keep themselves willing to, move on and love. So also, if anybody's going through anything like that, where you're just feeling like you just can't even get yourself to trust anybody again, feel free to come hang out here and just tell us what's going on for you, and hopefully we can kind of, support you through that. Let's see. Gary said, very true. They drift, don't chase. Yeah. So drift, that's a good term for it, Gary. I like that, drifting. It's like, it's not that I don't think there's any like decision that I've been snapping a lot tonight. I don't think there's any decision that happens. I think that people do. They just kind of like, because people don't like closing doors, but something just doesn't, hit it for them. Chloe said, let's talk about kink. I like that you did like a little intro, Chloe. That's fun. Okay. So I had this ex-boyfriend who was a surgeon. I had just started dating him, and I was hanging out at his condo. Well, he went upstairs for a long time, and when he came downstairs, I went down on him and tasted lotion. Well, I knew this wasn't him being kinky, but being, uh-oh, where's the rest of your message? I'm so curious. Well, why was he doing it with the lotion if you already knew? Oh my gosh. I see that there's a question from Marcella and from Jocelyn. And I want to know what happened with the lotion on the dude. All right, Chloe, you'd better put the rest of that story in there so we can talk about it. Because did he go up there and like masturbate so he wouldn't try too hard with you? What happened? Chloe, I need to know. Go write the rest. If somebody else can read it, paste it in. Okay, Marcella said, I work in academia. Because of the time I spent on my career, I tend to date... Oh, sorry, Marcella, I will come back to that, but I see that Chloe put the rest in. Oh, left me downstairs alone. She's here. Okay, so he left you downstairs alone. But what was the kinky part? So you said, okay, so you guys were dating for a while. So this is your boyfriend. And he just left you downstairs and he went upstairs. So you think he went upstairs to jack off? Sorry to be so, Is that what you think happened? That's kind of a strange... Maybe he just was trying to have like a night where you didn't feel like it was all about I feel like you know what happened because you already broke up with him and stuff. So I would like to know more about what happened. He totally did. He admitted it months later. Interesting. So did you ask him why? I mean, because that would be kind of gross. I would have to imagine, because I don't think that most lotion, it's not meant to be edible. So maybe he wasn't expecting you to do that afterwards, but that probably did not taste good. I'm sorry, Chloe, that you had to experience that. I don't know that I would call that kinky though. I think that sounds like he just, I don't know why he felt like, maybe he just thought he'd get it over quickly and he didn't feel like doing it. Maybe he was cheating. Maybe, I don't know. If you know, tell us. Oh, you don't know. Just, I know, right? I've never heard a story like that. I like that when I hear some kind of a news story. Somebody said the same experience. Oh, you had the same thing? Is this a thing that guys are doing now? I'm going to shut off the flower just because I'm worried that I'm being staticky. But I have to figure out how to shut it off, so hold on. And then I'm going to come back and find out why all of these guys are masturbating with lotion when they have women downstairs. I don't get it. Oh, see, you know what, Chloe? Oh, if you said addiction, I don't know if you're laughing about the addiction or not, because I definitely am not in the camp that believes in sex addiction. I really do believe that that's a myth and it's something that was made up by the addiction industry to make money. It can be a coping mechanism, and it could be that for whatever reason he was with another woman and he didn't want to have sex with you because of that, or he was thinking about breaking up with you, or he was feeling guilty for something else, or he was just tired. Whatever it was, there was some reason behind it. But I'm not going to go as far as saying that there's any kind of an addiction going on. But it's a really funny story, so thank you for sharing that. I want to go back to what Marcella asked. Okay, so Marcella said, I work in academia. Because of the time I spend on my career, I tend to date other academics. I've noticed that academics tend to have the strangest fetishes. I wonder if dark fantasies tend to be a function of intelligence. Actually, well, you're in academics because you're smart, right? So yeah, I mean, it's been proven in studies now. We just published an article about it by Dr. Michael Arent. So if you want to look that up later, it's Aaron with A-A-R-O-N. But yeah, there was a study that was done, and they found out that people who are into kink tend to be more intelligent and more educated generally. And the correlation with education seems to be that, you know, as you learn more, then you've learned more about different kinds of perspectives about things throughout the world. And so you tend to become more open-minded in general and more willing to accept that your thoughts and your fantasies are normal because you've probably studied about it or researched it. If it was bothering you, you probably go, you know, seek out resources to learn more before you just make automatic judgments about yourself. And so that seems to be the reason why. It's not that, you know, it's a smart thing to do versus a stupid thing to do or vice versa. It's just that willingness to self-reflect and having had more experience with different kinds of people and different kinds of things. So, I mean, it's like for me, having mediated divorces for 7 years, people tell me the strangest, and then working here and working on these articles that we have, right? The combination factor. Nothing surprises, like nothing shocks me, really. You can tell me a story that could be the weirdest, most effed up shit that somebody did sexually or, you know, whatever, and I'll be like, oh, wow, okay. But I won't ever be like shocked that there was a human being who thought to do that, because I'm a firm believer that Rule 34, which is the rule that if anybody can think of it, porn of it exists. Like when Becca first did her first Facebook Live, and she had her O shot at the time she was on Facebook. One of the editors said something like, I wonder if there's a phlebotomy fetish, because there was a phlebotomist who came by to take blood. And I went on to FetLife, like I logged in to go look it up, and like, sure enough, there's like 1 billion groups on phlebotomy fetishes, which they're probably gone now, because after the Trump administration came in, FetLife kind of cleared the decks a little bit of some of the more like edgier kinds of play just because people were worried that those kinds of things would be monitored. So unfortunately, you know, freedom of expression was shut down with that a little bit. But my point is, yeah, I don't have a problem believing in anything. Okay, moving on. So Jocelyn said, I have a new friend who wants me to dominate him. Is this possible if I've never played the game? Well, sure. I mean, it's possible if you're interested. If you have a desire to dominate, I mean, well, you didn't say if it's a man or woman, so it could be either one. But if you have a desire to dominate somebody sexually, and you have a desire to dominate your friend, like that specific person, then, you know, go for it. I mean, I think that a lot of people are surprised, like, at how, sorry that I can't figure out how to get rid of my notifications, so I'm upping them away. At how naturally that is really just a part of who you are or are not sexually. So typically there, you know, there are certain things that people have to learn, and there's lots of interesting things out there for people to learn. There are two websites that I love. And if anybody's watching this who knows the people on those websites, I tried to contact the webmasters there and they haven't responded to me, but I want to get their stuff syndicated on our site. So if you know anybody, let me know. The two sites, one's called dominantguide.com and the other one is called submissiveguide.com. And they're great, just like beginner learning about some of like what is a dominant, what is a submissive, what's this kind or that kind, because there are different kinds of dominance and different kinds of submission. And as you read about it, you can see, like, is that resonating with you? Is it getting you hot thinking about doing it? You know, is it getting you hot thinking about doing it with this person? Because maybe doing it with your friend, I'm assuming there's probably some kind of an attraction there if your friend was even willing to ask you. But I don't want to assume too far. So if you're interested enough that you're asking about it, I'm guessing you're interested enough that you do want to maybe try it. And some people are switches. Some people like to be dominant sometimes and they like to be submissive sometimes. And I think, you know, maybe you want to try both and see what feels natural to you. But the important thing is that when you go into it establishing, you both know, hey, this is like our first time, and so we're going to not judge each other. We're just going to go for it. We're going to be natural about it. We're going to be willing to laugh it off if it doesn't work for us, you know, and so you just kind of need to establish up front that this is an experiment. You know, I mean, back to the academics being into kink, you know, it's like, it's a lot of it, it's experimenting, and it's, I mean, that's why they call it playing. You know, I mean, really think of it that way. It's called play for a reason. You're playing. It's not this, like, even though, you know, it seems serious to some people because there's like the dungeons and the, you know, it seems like there's this like darkness to it. But think about, like, Halloween is super fun. Like, dark isn't always foreboding. You know, it can be really fun. So just as long as you just keep that attitude about it and you guys are friends, then have fun and then come back and tell us how it goes. Barbara said, like, who cares? Beauty comes from the heart, not the face. I agree with you. I'm not sure. I think I might have missed something because I don't know what that related to. Katie said, I'm in a single group online and have become friends with a lot of others in the group. One of the things that comes up a lot is when others want to talk about their fantasies. I'm just clicking to open it. I feel so out of place during those discussions because I've never had any fantasies. Does that make me weird? It doesn't make you weird that you've never had any fantasies. I just wonder if you have any, like, shame around it, like, for yourself, that you don't feel comfortable thinking about, like, first of all, you know, and I don't want to, again, make presumptions, but there are people who are asexual who just aren't, they have no interest in being sexual with people. There are people who are demisexual. There are people, you know, there's so many different layers and levels to sexuality and sexual orientation that we're just scratching the surface of. So you could be totally, like, in touch with yourself and just not fantasize about stuff because that just is not your wiring, and you just don't. And so that's okay. And so you don't have, it's like anything else in a group dynamic, is nobody is going to match every single component of what is discussed or goes on in that group. I don't care if it's a single mom group, a single dad group, a, you know, cycling group, a kink group. Like, I don't care what kind of, you know, needlepoint group. I don't care what it is. Like, you're gonna have something different. And so if your difference is that you don't have sexual fantasies, then fine, you know, then that's just you. Now, if it's something where you have some underlying sense that maybe you're not letting yourself, then that's something that you can maybe just kind of, when you lay in bed at night, like, let your mind wander and see if you're trying to think about something sexy, like, what comes to mind, and start to explore it and maybe, you know, get comfortable with that. But there's no reason to think that maybe you just don't fantasize. You know, some people just don't. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like you can just be, like in any group, you can be supportive and be a friend, even if you don't necessarily relate. You know, I mean, maybe the stories are interesting, but if you're reading the stories of all of their different fantasies and none of them are doing anything for you, none of them are stimulating you, then that's just your own personal way that you're set up. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Andrew said, trusting issues. I suffer from them myself, been hurt so bad. Went to bed. Yeah, I know, Andrew, I know you've talked, I feel really bad about that. I mean, it's just really, really hard. You know, it's really hard, especially when you've already been hurt a bunch of times. So I'm glad you get to come here and talk about it. And, oh, let's see. Judy said, my ex jacked off on porn while I was in the other room. Some weird guys, I reckon, helped me wonder why he did that. Okay. I have heard that question a lot of times when I was doing divorce mediation. Women tend to get very, very defensive when they find out that the man they're with watches porn. And when I find out that a woman's man has watched porn, my feeling is she just confirmed that he's a male. Because I think, like, statistically, like 99.9% of men watch porn. It's just a natural, you know, men are visually stimulated. Women are too. I mean, we're learning more and more that women watch porn a lot too, and they're becoming more comfortable with it. And what I think is really interesting that, I mean, there are a lot of sex therapists who talk about this, but I think David Lay was the first one I heard say this, and it made sense, is that the reason we get so hung up about porn is really not that we're hung up about the porn, but we're hung up about masturbation. Because if somebody is watching porn, it means they're masturbating. Because you don't just sit and like put on a Friends rerun. Should I watch Friends, or should I flip to Pornhub and just watch a video? Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody does that. You're not going to just watch porn for fun. So, it really becomes then, you know, I think for a lot of women, we feel like, well, if I'm right there, then why wouldn't he come be with me instead of, you know, going to the porn and masturbating? And I understand that feeling. And I've certainly, when I was younger, had that feeling. I've also, TMI, if my parents can turn this off now, if you guys are watching, they don't tend to watch anyway, because I think they get uncomfortable. But I've done that. Like, I've gone into the room and I've masturbated instead of being with the guy who I was with, who was there, who I had a great sex life with. It had nothing to do with that. I just was like tired and trying to take a nap, and I knew it would put me to sleep better. You know, it's like, sometimes you just don't want to have the full interaction of sex and have to worry about the other person's needs too if you're just trying to relax. And there are a lot of people, men and women, who just use it as a way of relaxing. Because think about it, after you have an orgasm, you feel pretty relaxed, right? Like, it's not that it's a bad thing. So I think if you guys have if you have a healthy sex life in general together, and things are good together, and every once in a while he decides that he wants to take some time to himself, you know, even though you're there, I don't personally, to me, that's not cheating. It's not anything to do with you. It's just the fact that his penis is sitting there in his lap and it feels good and he probably wants to chill out. If it's a situation where you guys aren't having sex and you're having a lot of problems in that area, then that's something to talk to. But it's not something to talk to in terms of don't masturbate to porn, have sex with me. It's something to talk about as far as why aren't we connecting? Because a lot of times when people aren't having sex, it's not because the sex isn't good, it's because they're not emotionally connecting. You know, they're fighting, or somebody resents the other one for something. It's typically not anything to do with how the sex is. It's typically about all the other stuff in the relationship. So if what upsets you is that he did that, but he doesn't come to bed with you, I agree, that's a huge issue. It's not a healthy way to be in a relationship where you're not having sex with each other and you're just going and taking care of your own needs and never connecting that way. I don't think that that's healthy for anybody. Men, women, I don't think it's healthy for anybody in relationships. But I would still just separate the conversation from the porn and the masturbation. Let's see. Pauline asked if the man in her life is hiding something. So I would just need more information, Pauline. If you want to ask a question and kind of tell me why you think he might be hiding something. I mean, I will say I feel like whenever somebody thinks that somebody is hiding something, either that person is hiding something. Isn't she the loveliest? Either that person is hiding something, or there's other problems going on in your relationship that you need to get to the bottom of. But I don't have enough information to really answer the question. Oh, Marcella says she knows Dr. Arent. Oh, he's great. He's an awesome guy. So if I remember later, I'll tell him that you were here and you asked and we talked about it. Let's see. Bryn said, I'm pretty adventurous in bed. I'm sleeping with someone who's not. How do you think is a good way to play a little more without freaking him out? I think, you know, there was another study that came out recently that I feel got really misinterpreted in a lot of the online articles about it. Like anybody, I don't read any offline articles anymore, but whatever. I'm like, that's just true. Okay, so, but I saw, okay, so the results of this study were that it turns out that whether or not a woman orgasms is a huge deal to the man she's having sex with. Huge, because it affects his sense of masculinity. And so men feel more masculine and more accomplished and therefore more satisfied in the relationship when the woman they're with is having orgasms when they have sex. And most of the articles I saw about that online were basically like, dudes are so selfish, like they just want to feel masculine and that's the only reason why they want women to have an orgasm is because of how it makes them feel. And I feel like that was such a ridiculous, no offense to anybody who's watching who wrote that, but yeah, I mean, don't you want the guy that you're with to have an orgasm when you're with him? Don't you want him to feel good? Like, don't you want him to like the dinner that you make? If you make dinner, if you give him a card, do you want him to like it? Do you feel more feminine when he says you're beautiful or that he loves you? I mean, that's how people work, you know? Like, when your kid hugs you and tells you you're the best mom ever, don't you feel like a better mom or a better dad? You know, if they say you're the best dad. So, yeah, of course they want to make sure that you have an orgasm. So, my point with that, Bryn, is that if you tell a guy, not in a way like, oh, I want you to do something different, but instead, like, I want you to do something more. And here is how. I was just thinking that if you tried this, nobody's ever tried that before, right? Like, they want to be like the only one and the best one, right? And so, you know, I was thinking this could be I don't know, like I pictured you doing this And that would just be incredible, you know? Or I've tried to use just like, you know, different terms that, you know, like some guys kind of, I think they kind of like rush in to the landing field a little bit too quickly, you know? And if you can just say, you know, like, I really kind of need you to warm me up first, you know, because it's going to be better for both of us if things are, you know, if I don't want to say juices, if my juices are flowing too, you know? And I did it. Sorry, Kim, if you're watching. And so if you just say, you know, this is what's going to make it so much better, and then tell him what it is that you're thinking that you want him to do or to try. And then one of two things is going to happen. Either he's going to be totally turned on and totally into it, and then there you go. And he's going to see that it was good, and so then it'll be easier and easier to explore. You can also suggest that the two of you, like on a weekend where you're hanging out, you can be like, hey, you know what I just thought would be really fun is let's go to a sex shop together and look at some sex toys, you know? And like if he puts up any kind of resistance about that, like feels embarrassed, my feeling about that, because I always find it really weird that like I write and edit about sex all the time, and I talk about it all the time, and I know all these people who are sex educators and sex therapists, and I still feel weird whenever I go to a sex store for some reason, whatever. But I always just remind myself, like, there's nobody who's in that store who's not there for the same reason you are, right? And the people who work there are there, same people who are there for those reasons all day long. So it's really not any different than going to Target, because everybody's at Target for the same reason too. But like that can be really fun. Like go and like look at stuff together in the store. And so either he's going to get really into that and have a lot of fun, and then things are just going to get better and better for both of you. Or he'll be really judgy and blah about it, and he'll say no, and then you get to decide if you're cool with things the way that they are, just staying that way, or if that's going to be a boring relationship for you. Because I don't know the level of, you know, you said you're adventurous, but I don't know like how important it is to you to be adventurous. So then you'll get to weigh. But I would say give it a try first, because hopefully it'll just be fun. I saw that Aria's here. Hi, Aria. Andrew said, okay, now this is a touchy situation. Chloe and the other woman on here with your boyfriend, husband, ex, whatever, how can I explain it? Well, it's more or less that they're not happy. They've got something to hide. What's he saying? I believe her, because I'm a man from my own experience, if you can't please. This is so weird. Now Andrew's message got cut off. So apparently tonight I'm not seeing full messages, just like Chloe's. So I'm guessing you were saying something about if you can't please your woman, but I'm really bummed out that I can't read the rest of your comment. And then Fawn had said, Andrew works both ways. What if he doesn't please you? Absolutely. Chloe said, yes, we please each other. He was just sick in the head. LOL. I mean, or who knows, Chloe? Like he might have just been just like the other question, you know, that I just answered. Like maybe he just didn't think it was going to happen that night, and he just wanted to get it over with really quickly. I mean, who knows? Maybe he had to get up early. I don't know. Andrew said, LOL. Not something to men. Oh, you're not into men, you're into women. Chad said, I got to go to bed. Oh, Chloe, not Chad. Why does it look like Chad? On the East Coast. Good night, guys. Thanks for the internet. Oh, good, Chloe. We'll come back next week. It'll be fun to see you again. Ronnie said, is it weird? I love it when my girlfriend squirts on me. No, there are a lot of men and women who like it when their girlfriend or their woman squirts on them. It's become a really, really popular thing, you know, and so they're finding that more, there's been a question about that, I think almost every week. We get questions about that all the time. We have articles about it all the time. And I think that a few years ago when people first started learning about squirting and like seeing it, I think first it was only people who would like admit that they watch porn ever saw it, and it was kind of like a weird, almost like equivalent to like a golden shower kind of video, which is where somebody urinates on somebody else. And they have, I mean, the science is still, I see so many articles that say the science is still out, and they don't. Okay, I don't know if you could see me. Sorry if I was paused. I ended up in Instagram for some reason, which is weird. There was like a Twilight Zone moment with Instagram. So yeah, at first it was kind of like this kind of weird thing, the squirting, and then it became more and more, and then it almost like, I feel like now there's almost a lot of pressure on women to be able to squirt, and not everybody can. Oh, what I was saying was, like, they say that the science is still out about whether or not it's urine or something else, but then I also see studies that say that it's conclusively not urine, and the women I know who squirt all say it's definitely not urine. And so, you know, apparently, like, from my own opinion, based on what I've read, it seems like it's basically stimulated by the G-spot, and that technically any woman should be able to do it, but I don't know. I think there's issues with, like, hydration, and it seems like as women get older, it's easier, but that could, nobody knows yet if that's a physiological reason, or if that's more like they get into a mental space when they're older, that they're more comfortable with sex, and so it happens more easily. I don't know. But the point is, it's not weird that you like it, and if your girlfriend does it, then that's awesome for her that you like it, so let her know. I'm sure you do. Let's see. Oh, somebody said adorable puppy, thank you. Oh, Pauline said this was about that you think the guy is hiding something because he accused you of hiding something. I mean, yeah, if you are not hiding something, which I assume you're not, or you wouldn't be asking the question probably here in a public forum. If you're not hiding something and he's accusing you a lot, I definitely think that it tends to be a red flag that they're doing some projecting, and that they're doing their own lying or hiding, or they're trying to deflect from something that they know that they're doing. Or they just have a really paranoid personality, which isn't a healthy or enjoyable thing to be around anyway. So if he's making you feel cornered and accused, whether or not he's hiding something, that's not cool. So that in of itself, I would try to make sure you get a stop to that, in addition to trying to figure out if there's maybe something he's hiding. I would try to get a sense of maybe does he do that to other people too in his life? Like, is he kind of paranoid in general? You know, I think if you look around and see how he treats people, if it's really out of character, and if you've been with him for a while and it's happening really suddenly, then I would say, yeah, you might want to talk. And the problem is, when somebody's hiding something, if they're hiding it anyway, sometimes no matter how much you try to get them to talk about it, they're just never going to come forward. And if you try to constantly be trying to uncover it, you can make yourself sick with the worrying about it and stressing about it. So I feel like then you kind of have to make a decision. Either you're going to let it go if he's not really, you know, harassing you, if he's not giving you a hard time about hiding things, and he drops that act, and then nothing else seems suspicious or pops up, you can just let it go and see maybe it was a phase or something, or maybe somebody said something to him and got him paranoid or something happened like that. But if he won't admit anything to you and he's treating you badly by accusing you of stuff, then I would definitely want to put an end to that. Whether it means, I don't know the length of your relationship or the type of relationship, but that just doesn't sound like a great dynamic to be dealing with on a daily basis. Okay, it's getting late, so let's see how much there is. Oh, Bryn said you're badass. Thanks, babe. That's like the best compliment ever. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mike said, as a guy, I would like to be told you're not doing it right or whatever. Yeah, see, that's about, that was about, you know, if he's, the question you asked, Bryn, about it, you know, he's not being adventurous in bed. I really do believe that most guys want to know how to please you. And I think that, I mean, that's like in general with women, right? Like, and people, but you can't, you know, expect somebody to just guess. And so unless you're, I think that people want to please each other usually, unless you're involved with somebody who's a narcissist or a sociopath or something like that. which, yeah, that sucks. But then you shouldn't be with them anyway. Chokiri said the truth about the G point, if you mean the G spot, is that there is one. And you know what's really interesting about the G spot to me? I read this in one of the articles here, that the reason a lot of doctors can't find the G spot in women and therefore don't believe it exists is because for a lot of women, the G spot is, they can only feel it when they're aroused because it becomes swollen. And when you're in the stirrups at the gynecologist's office and they're doing like a pap smear on you, or they're like prodding you around up there, you're not remotely close to aroused. So your G spot is probably not popping up to say hi to your OBGYN very often. But it's there. And so it's just a matter of, you know, when you're in the mood, feeling around and seeing if you can find it for yourself. Tom asked, is it wrong to be an adult baby and want a woman to be his mommy? I mean, if it's between two consenting adults, nothing's wrong. There's a huge community of people who are into that. So as long as you're, you know, go to FetLife, or, you know, I'm sure there are other sites. I just know FetLife because I'm not like that. I haven't found any others that I thought were all that like accessible or easy to use or seem legit. I don't know, but I'm sure that there are other good sites. But go get involved in like the groups there and just read and see that there are plenty of other people who are doing that. So as long as, you know, you're doing it with a consenting adult, and I mean, that's it. As long as you're doing it with a consenting adult, who cares, right? It's what you're into. So don't hurt anybody, consent, be safe, and then there's no reason for it to be wrong. You know, everybody has their own stuff. So I am going to call it a night. Wow, it's been an hour, which is pretty long. I usually don't go for that long. So thank you guys all for being here and for being so interactive and involved. It was really fun for me. And again, my email address is what is it? It's Arianna, ARIANNA @YourTango.com. If you have any questions, and just let me know if you want me to say your name or if you want me to keep it anonymous. And if you come back on Tuesday or Thursday at the same time, 7:15 Pacific, 10:15 Eastern, then Becca will be here for Becca After Dark. And if you come back on Wednesday at that same time, Joanna will be here talking about feminism, and she does a lot of politics talk, and I learn a lot from her every time I watch, so it's good stuff. And thank you guys for being here. Have a good night.